Throughout this week, we're building up to the first budget of the new Modi government. Today's focus is on jobs. And this is one issue where the government finds itself on the back foot. The numbers do not paint an encouraging picture. According to the National Sample Survey Office, unemployment in India is at a 45-year high. Recently, India lost the tag of the fastest growing economy in the world. The GDP rate has slowed to 5.8%. Slowdown in demand also adds to the jobs problem, which means that companies will produce less goods, so less people will be employed. From cars to consumer goods, a drop in consumption levels has been reported, and it's a worrying sign. The World Bank says that India needs to create 8.1 million jobs every year to achieve its growth target. This is the biggest challenge before Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to achieve sustained job growth. The need of the hour is to introduce structured reform. The Modi government could begin with sections that have the maximum contribution. Sectors like auto, real estate, banking, construction, agriculture, these sectors are worth focusing on. Each of these sectors is also facing troubles of its own. Former RBI Director Vipin Malik believes that more than anything else, the government should focus on the agriculture and the banking sectors.
That is one big ticket. The possibility of announcement is that they will try to woo the farmers, agriculturists and related parties. Second is that the banking sector is in a very bad shape. Very, very bad shape. And that bad shape is that non-performing asset has increased substantially. And the economy is going down every day. Rate of interest is... I don't know what credit policy Reserve Bank will bring, but that will also, rate of interest is also very important, that whether they are going to reduce rate of interest, CRR, SLR, what exactly. So that will be another thing which I think the budget will address it.
Experts believe that the government should ease compliance and come up with new plans to boost investment. Some short-term steps can be taken in this budget. The government could opt to reduce corporate tax. It could ease lending and rules on a short-term basis. This will give corporates more room to hire and boost productivity. But like we said earlier, job creation requires structural reforms, and these reforms go beyond the budget. Richard Rosso from the Centre for Strategic and International Studies believes that the Prime Minister will initiate major reforms early in his second term.
I think so. Again, the budget isn't always the place to initiate major reform. So I'm not sure that you're necessarily going to see in the budget itself something that takes India in a dramatically different direction. But I think early on in Modi's first 5 years, you saw some of the bigger reforms happening earlier in his tenure. Big reduction in some of the restrictions on foreign equity and foreign investment rules. You saw him move on oil and gas regulations, pricing of hydrocarbons, things like that. Some of the tougher reforms like goods and services tax took a couple of years, but by and large, you saw a lot of big reforms early out of the gates. And I suspect that you'll see that again. There's a logic behind it. A lot of reforms, as we saw with GST, they cause a lot of short-term pain. So doing those early in the government's tenure makes a lot of sense.